So now just to check that everything works fine, let's open our step3.php file and use our print sessions function to print all of the sessions. So if we go back, we select 1, 2, 3 of them and we click next. There we go. So we've got our first string values, we've got our step array, and then we have our interest, 3 of them which I've selected: interest number 1, 4, 11, and obviously their relevant values. So now if we go back, we can remove this function from here. We start with the PHP opening and closing, and obviously we will add our header and footer. So let's open step 2 just to make it easier for ourselves. Paste header and footer. Then we will have our h1 tags with the color and some description. What's your favorite color? Okay, we can change this to acute. Okay, then we have our div with a class of def and BRTS, border top solid, non-breakable space. And hey, our page should now look the way we want it. Okay, so everything's fine. Now we will need to add our form. So let's use the same thing as we've used before. So our insert form, close this. So we have our form exactly the same way as before. Let's remove this TD tags. Actually, we can copy buttons from the previous file. So if we copy the entire row, table row, and paste it here, so that we don't have to go through this again. So hey, our buttons are already here. If we refresh the page and check, we've got previous next. It's fine. We can close our step 2. And in between the th tags, let's echo our new function, get colors. And we will also pass the parameter with the name of the radio group. So it's going to be simply color. Okay, now we need to create this function. So if we copy the name, go back to the functions, we have our get mode, get age, get interest, and after get interest, we create our function to populate colors from the database. So function get colors, and we will be passing the parameter which will be the name. We start with a SQL statement, so select all from table colors, order by name in the ascending order. Okay, then we have our rows variable with a fetch all function, and we're passing our SQL. Now we're checking if rows isn't empty. In other words, if records have been found, and we start with our alt variable with ul class, and the class name will be ul check. Okay, then we do for each loop rows as row. Okay, I'm going to scroll up a little bit so they can see better. Okay, we have out dot equal li label for, and it's going to be the name hash, and after the, sorry, we don't need this here. Okay, we have row ID, dot, double quotes, then backslash, double quotes, so the for is closed. Then we have class, and the class in between the quotes, we have radio. Okay, closing the label, double quote and semicolon. Then we have another out, which will store our input type. This time is radio button, so radio name, and the name will be exactly the same as here. So if we copy this whole thing, it will be equal name hash and EID. Then we have our ID equals, and let's copy the same thing. So after the equal sign, first backslash and to the double quote at the end. And then we have value, and the value will be double quote, then double quote again to escape, row ID dot double quote. And then we can place another double quote and semicolon, because now we are going to add the sticky radio function, which we have already created earlier. So name we passing as first, and then row ID. Okay, which means we obviously passing the ID of this specific record, which is looping currently through the for each loop. Okay, then we have out, and we close our input, we open span, and in a span we will put row name, display as the label, then dot quote, closing span, closing label, and closing li, double quote and semicolon. Then after this for each loop, we add another out, and we simply close our UL tag. And after our if is an empty rows, we return if is set out, we return out, otherwise we return no. So our function is now finished. We go back to step 3, and if we go back to our page, refresh, we can see all of our radio buttons with the colors are now selected. The only problem is obviously it's selecting. You can select any radio button we want. It should only select one. So this is something we're going to resolve in the next video.